Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in to Curb Uncensored. On our show, we talk about it all. We talk about reality TV, celebrities, we talk about real life, the real stuff. We talk about finances, we talk about relationships, we talk about everything. So if that's what you're into, then you're at the right station. But before we move forward, let's take care of the business. Everything I talk about on this show is for strictly entertainment purposes only, strictly my opinions. So you do with it what you want. So let's get into this show today. Now, I'm sure, unless you have been under a rock, honey, you have heard about this foolishness that's been going on for a long time with DL and Monique. Now, let me just get into it, give my little 2 cents for whatever it's worth, and we're going to move right on what I did, right? Okay. I've been listening to both sides, as I'm sure most of you have. We've heard it from so many different perspectives. Everybody has their opinion on it, right? As I do too. So, what I think it is, honestly, it's just like when in the hood, these young boys out here, they're having problems, they're fighting, they're using guns. The only thing that DL and Monique them are using are their words. It's about ego, it's about pride. And no one wanted to be the man or woman to sit down and truly, truly talk about it. I feel like from everything I've heard, it seems like it was, it started off with the money, okay? And then it went from the money, which was the contract issue from a show that they were supposed to do. And it moved forward with now we back and forth. I got to keep one up on you kind of mentality. And that's kind of how it is. Our people stay ready. We stay on go. So if you come with something, we're going to definitely come with something else. That's just kind of how we do. We are very, very prideful people. So if someone says something about us that we're not happy with, we feel like we just got to get back with them. We just got to, because if we don't, guess what? People going to think we're a sucker, right? People going to think we ain't about it, right? But that's not always true. I'm gonna get into them, but this is just my little 2 cents. I think in this situation, someone is gonna have to be the bigger person and let things just go. Now it seems like DL wasn't saying anything for a while, and then Monique went on Club Shay Shay, which is Shannon Sharp's podcast show, and she said some things that she brought back up some of the issues, and she didn't only say things about DL, things about some other comedians or whatnot.
Oh, truth, tell it. No, tell the damn truth. God damn it, tell the truth. Because family is sacred.
It's supposed to be.
And we don't cross the line with family.
Mm-hmm.
And people begin to get comfortable to jump on the Monique bandwagon of Monique doing things wrong, and she doing this and she doing that. And there's a brother named DL Hughley.
Yep.
And until he take accountability, I won't let it go.
What?
Because, what was you getting ready to say?
I was going to say, what did DL do?
Let me tell you. Baby, that voice went up, didn't it? DL is friend. He like, that's my friend.
No, I've met DL on several occasions. I don't know DL like that.
Okay.
Do I know DL say like I know an earthquake? No. Do I know, since I've interviewed Kat, had several conversations with him, do I know DL on that level? No.
Right. See, when we say family is sacred,
right?
Family is sacred. And we know that you don't cross the line when it comes to family.
Correct.
Right? I do DL's radio show.
Yes.
DL Hughley is not there. His team is there. Mm-hmm. And Shannon, we having a great time. I mean, baby, we having a great time. We going forward, back and forth. When we get to the end of the show, they say, Monique, you want to play a game? Well, I want to play. I said, sure, sugar. Let's play a game. And it's a game called Would You Rather.
Oh.
Okay? Now.
Monique, you should have said, I'm too old for this game.
Wait a minute. We're having fun, baby. Right? We're having a good time, okay, Shannon. Okay. It's the sister there and there's two other guys. We're having a great time. It's a beautiful Black unity cookout. Okay. We're having a good time.
Okay.
Would you say your wife was your family? Is that considered family?
Yeah.
So your husband is considered family,
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So here we go. They said, Monique, we want to play a game of Would You Rather. Let's go. Would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?
Really, Monique?
Now, as y'all are watching right now who haven't heard this story, y'all going, they doing the same thing in the studio. They going, okay. That is exactly what happened. Now, I said to the team, how does that uplift our community? I said, sister, and her name is Jasmine, how could you ask another sister that? Well, we just planned. I said, tell me the joke in that, because I don't know what you're insinuating. Then you're involving people that have nothing to do with nothing. Like, what are y'all doing? So I said, I'm going to call my brother, DL. I'm going to call my brother. I call DL Hughley on the phone. I say, hey, baby. Yeah.
Huh?
That's how he responds. Yeah.
Did he know it was you?
Yes, because they called him to let him know Monique's going to be calling.
Right.
Like this, it was getting crazy.
Right.
I'm like, just let me get on the phone with my brother. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, DL. Yeah. I said, listen, I just got off the phone with your team and they wanted to play this game, Would You Rather? And it was like stupid. Like asking me about my husband and Lee Daniels and Corinne Steffens, and his exact words, well, that's how we do it. I said, DL, how does that uplift our community? And again, I don't know what y'all trying to insinuate, but brother, what you doing? Like I said, that's just how we do it. So it is what it is. Now, it got so ugly that my attorney had to send a cease and desist. So it never aired. So we have, like, when Cat Williams talk and people, truth tellers talk, we have receipts to everything we're saying. That's how that whole thing got started. Okay? It's family. My husband is my family.
Yeah.
Now, you babies that are really good with this internet, through the years, I've watched DL speak ill of me. Through the years. I never knew DL Hughley had a problem with me. But when Cass said they all a group, he forgot to put DL Hughley in the group. Mm-hmm. Through the years, I was bitter. I was dangerous with what I was doing, saying that it was inequality. My husband didn't know what he was doing. This went on through the years. I was unloved, all of these things. And I said to myself, I'ma see you. I'ma see you. I didn't go on nobody's show. I didn't say nothing to nobody, but I knew the time would come that I would see him. We were scheduled to do a show in Los Angeles. I was the headliner of that show. His name was on it, then his name came off. I didn't question it, but I knew I'ma see him, right?
Eventually.
Okay, now we have a show in Detroit. Contractually, I was the headliner. DL Hughley posted a memo. Now, when you signed your deal for the Ravens, did you sign a contract or a memorandum?
I signed a contract.
You see how you say that? Like anybody that knows good business, you sign. The memo is saying this is what I would like.
Right.
But the contract is saying this is what it is. Okay?
Yes.
He put out a memo to our community. And that touched me a little different because I was saying, why would you lie to our babies? Because now they're thinking if they send somebody a memo, that's what they're supposed to get. Mm-hmm. Okay? I was contractually signed to go as the headliner.
Right. I mean, you go last.
DL Hughley didn't come into the building until 9:30. Now, contractually, I said I have to be on stage by 9:30 because if the show starts at 8, I refuse to keep an audience waiting.
Right.
That is disrespectful to the audience.
Correct.
When I went out on that stage, Shannon, I made sure everything I said, he heard me. Because now you're here and I'm going to say it to you. Mm-hmm. And I said some things on that stage that I said he was cowardly. And some folks said, how could you say that? How could you do that? And then I posted some things to say, this is what I meant. See, you came after my husband. And when you had a chance to fix it, when you had a chance to say, Mo, my bad, you know, we don't even get down like that.
Right.
You told me it is what it is. And until he's brave enough and courageous enough to say, this is what really happened, y'all. Y'all have never known me to be no shit starter. Folks ain't never known me to go over and kick a sandwich out of somebody's hand that's hungry. But what people do know is, if you kick me, damn if I ain't gonna kick you back.
Right.
Because that's fair play.
Right.
So there was one left out the pack. And when you have people that continually don't take accountability, that's why you see us in the state of affairs we're in.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer, Mo, that everybody don't play the same. And someone once told me, what is joke to you is death to someone else.
What is joke? That's why we don't play with people's families.
No.
When we had the Monique show, the radio show, listen, you can't come on here and speak ill of no one because we don't play like that, because we know how this business works.
Right.
So when you allow that to happen, what do you think is going to come back your way? What do you think? And DL Hughley, please, no, brother, we still love you. Just take accountability for it, and we move forward.
I remember reading something about the situation in Detroit. I didn't know the depth of the magnitude of it. I remember reading something about a memo about, I guess it's an addendum that was added on, but the contract is the contract.
The contract is the contract. And what happens is, because of the messenger, it was easy to pile on.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy to pile on. And
now, I don't know the whole background about all this built up emotions. I only know her side from what I've heard her say, and I've heard DL's side from what he had to say, and both of them defending it, right? My biggest thing is, let's take it from the beginning. Okay, they were friends. It seems like they were friends from what they both stated, that they got along pretty well. They had a decent relationship, but they would have never went into the show together, right? Do y'all agree with me? Drop your comments. Let me know. And oh yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's big, big, big on these YouTube channels. You gotta like and subscribe, because that's how we know what we're doing works for you. Okay, so like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel, right? And share it too. That'll be cool. But look, they were friends at one time, right? Let's take it all the way back. They decided to get together and do a show together. Now, it seems to me, from what I've heard Monique state, that there was a memorandum, which was a long list of information that came out before the contract. This is her speaking, right? And I guess the memorandum and the contract read differently. So here we go, show day. And DL came at a certain time, but Monique went on, and I assume that DL became the headliner when Monique said she was supposed to be the headliner in the show. DL, of course, begged to differ. Here we go. It's something about our people in business. Sometimes, a lot of times, we just cannot work together. A lot of other ethnic groups can get together and work and make that money. We cannot do it. It's happening in rap and hip hop. These young boys out here, they can't just get out here and make their money. They can't make their coins and keep it moving. Rock, R&B, all the other genres of music can do it. But hip hop, rap, they got to shoot each other. They got to kill each other. It's the same thing. I don't know why it's so difficult for our people to learn how to work together. And we are some of the strongest people and smartest people they are. But we can't get past all this one up kind of thing and mindset that keeps us back. Man, we got to do something about this. We really do. And that's kind of what's happening here. And don't let it get about the money, because if it's about the money, we all got a problem, right? So from my understanding, that there was, like I said, a memorandum and a contract. They read differently, I guess, which would be stupid, because to me, both managers on both of their sides should have read over both sets of information. Attorneys, whoever is going to be representing them on this deal, should have read over it. It should have been no question come the day of the show. All this should have been ironed out. That we wouldn't even be here. So somebody, to me, dropped the ball early. Somebody dropped the ball early, because if the managers had read over everything thoroughly, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So moving forward to the show. Now we mad. So I assume Monique said some things DL didn't like. Okay, DL, he's a comedian as well. He gonna get up and he gonna defend himself. Now, we gonna move forward. We know they don't like each other, right? At this point, they don't like each other. They fell out at the show, whatever, right? So now we going forward. Now, Monique went on Club Shay Shay. This is the new stuff, because throughout, even before Club Shay Shay, they had this little thing. Let me backtrack a little bit. You know, Monique as well had a problem with Oprah, Tyler Perry, and some of those, and the network. Was it CBS? It was one of them. Where she went way back with the movie she had done, and she felt that they didn't pay her fairly. Now, I'm going to jump on Monique side with this. I get her. That was her business to say what she wanted, how she wanted, and take the repercussions of whatever was going to fall once she put her opinions out there. She was strong enough to say whatever she wanted to say. Any other celebrities that had a problem with it, that's their problem. She's a grown woman. A grown woman. So if she wanted to say what she wanted to say, and now, granted, she could have said it another way. She could have held a meeting, and she may have. I don't remember that right yet, but she could have had a meeting, and they should have sat down again and talked about this. All should have been known right on the table. Now, if you go into a contract knowingly what you gonna make, and then that movie come out and it makes a whole lot more than you agreed to, that's your bad, right? Whose fault is it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. You got to get somebody to understand what's going on if you don't quite know what's going on. There should have been some residual money in there. I don't know the term they use when it comes to movies or whatever. I don't know, but it should have been something in there if she was capped off at whatever amount she made for that movie, right? But I don't know. I guess that's not what happened. She made what she made, and all the producers and all the executives made the majority of the money on the show. And Monique, she acted the blank out of that movie, right? So she had a problem with Oprah them, right? Comes to the show and acting and all of that. So she voiced her opinion. A lot of people say she was really barking up the wrong tree. She should not have stood up to them. Well, hey, some people they feel like they're not going to put up with that. If they got a grievance, they're going to say it however they want to say it. I feel like that's her business. If she wanted to go out there and be verbal and let everybody know she wanted to boycott other people, like what was it, Netflix, because they weren't giving her the money she felt like she deserved. She's a grown woman. People need to mind their business. Like my daughter say, mind the business that pay you. Mind your business, Scrappy say. Because you know what? If people mind their business, then they won't be all in other people's business. And then they won't be having all this disagreement between people. So, like again, my daughter say, mind the business that pay you. If she felt that she wasn't being fairly treated and she was being discriminated against because of whatever the reasons may be she felt, and she wanted to air her grievances the way she did, then that's our business. No other person should have had nothing to say about it unless you were going to stand 10 toes down with her and have her back. If you weren't, then be quiet and let her handle it. So she voiced her opinion about Oprah and Tyler Perry and all of them, right? Moving forward. Then she had the problem she had with DL. We know how that goes. They had their little back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, we're going to move forward from that. Now, it died down for a minute. Boom, here go Club Shay Shay. Monique went on there and she brought back up this old stuff. Now, I'm saying we already know a lot about what went on. It is Shannon's job to kind of ask her questions about things that's happened throughout her career and things that he felt like his viewers wanted to hear. So Shannon actually asked Monique these questions, and Monique, being Monique, she answered the question. I don't think anything is wrong with that. And let me say this too. I don't like the idea, okay, that, and I've heard some things that DL said. You know what I mean? I'm going to say this, cut this right here, because I don't want to end this show and forget to make mention of this. So I'm going to say this right now. I know some of the things he was referencing. Monique got to pay a man, and about her weight, he insinuated. I mean, we understood the subliminals where he was coming. I didn't like that. Because as a Black man that has daughters, you should not say demeaning things about a Black woman, a white woman either, as a matter of fact. You should just not do that. And I didn't like that, because Monique is a beautiful woman. It's nothing wrong with her. We are, as African American women, we're built up. We have all shapes and sizes, honey. So it's nothing wrong with her. And I didn't appreciate that about him. That's one thing I don't like. I hate to see a Black man downing a Black woman. We've had to deal with that too much. So I felt DL was wrong for that, and I really want to make mention before the show ended. So, but anyway. Monique said what she said on Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay. So it brought back up old issues between her and DL. DL heard the issues, and boom, here he go. He got to get his 2 cents in. And You know, I get that. I get why DL felt like he needed to say something. Now, let me say something about my girl Monique. Love you, Monique, honey. But she be saying stuff low key below the gut sometimes. And we all catch it. And she know what she doing. It comes out as baby and sweetie and this and that, but she's really kind of low blowing. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all get it, y'all hear it, you know. So uh DL didn't like that. Now, moving forward, I actually went searching and I was trying to download that dang on video for some reason. I couldn't do it. But I heard DL make comments back to what Monique had said, right? And she had answered Shannon about the comment that she had made regarding DL's, I guess it's his youngest daughter. And I don't feel Monique should have went there. Now that was low too, because you don't bring family into the business part of it. It was between her and DL, and I feel like it should have stayed there. Now, I went looking for the video because Monique said she did not bring that up first, that DL actually, you know, said it first. And you know what? She was not lying. I heard DL out his own mouth. In generally, it's not verbatim, it's just to summarize it pretty much, because I don't want to stay here and waddle. When he made the statement that a really close, basically a really, close so-called friend of his was bothering, I'm just keeping it there, with his youngest daughter, and she came to him and told him, and he didn't believe her because the person that was supposedly doing this was very close to him, kind of like mentored him, and he couldn't believe that that person had done this type of thing. But when it came down to it, he did. And I think it was a neighbor or something like that. Don't quote me on. I think he said a neighbor, but I wish I could have. You can Google it and you'll hear the video. You'll hear him say that himself. He did make that statement himself. So Monique did not put it out there. DL actually put it out there. And he was on the radio interview with Sway. And so Google it and you will hear him say it for yourself. It was on the Bill Cosby interview about Bill Cosby. And he was referencing some, Bill Cosby's behavior. And he said he had can identify that because of something that happened with his daughter. And he went on to explain what had happened. And he also went and explained his regrets. Now, when Monique made the statement on stage, when she was performing and she was stating something about his wife, it must be difficult to perform, on someone that doesn't have courage or something to that effect, something about that. It was just a low blow. She was basically saying that DL was weak by not standing up and taking care of his daughter when she came to him and gave him that information. He should have stepped up. He should have, and he acknowledged that. He would forever live with that regret. So he did acknowledge that DL, right when he explained it on Sway's show, he came and said he's got to forever live with that regret. So when Monique brought that up again on Club Shay Shay, of course it hurts. It's just like when she went on DL Hughley's show, right? She went on a show and did an interview on DL's show, and they've had this game that they play. And she was not happy with the question that they posed to her. And it basically, the question, I think it was called like, would you rather, or something like that, or something. Do you think you rather, or some game they do on the show. And DL say they do the game with everybody. Everybody comes on the show. They do the same game with everybody. But Monique was offended when they asked her the question about something like, would you rather your husband use a condom with what was her name, Superhead or somebody like that? No, use a condom with gosh, I know who it is. I just cannot. I'm losing my mind right now. But basically, she felt that what was said, she felt was contesting her husband's sexuality. And she felt like that her husband is her family. So if her family can be put on the table, then so could DL's family be put on the table. So that's why Monique felt that, hey, it's fair game. If you could come and say something about my family, then I could come and say something about your family. Now, my biggest thing, her family was an adult, but is an adult, and she loves her husband dearly. Okay, regardless of what anyone else thinks, she loves her husband dearly, and DL loves his daughter dearly. I felt like, yeah, that was a game, but the question that was stated was a little bit ridiculous. But maybe they felt like Monique was with that. Maybe they felt like Monique was with that because, Monique, she does talk about her and her husband's sexuality, and she's open with it. So maybe they felt like she would be game with that and she would be okay with it. She's funny, she's laughing all the time. So maybe they didn't feel like she would be as offended by it. So that might be why they felt that it would be okay to pose that question to Monique, where she didn't like it. And what happened was she ended up contacting DL. And when she contacted DL, in her opinion, kind of had a lackluster answer, like, okay, it is what it is now. I mean, the question is what it is. It's a show, it's a game we play all the time. So, what you want me to do about it? One of those kind of attitudes. And she felt like, okay, she didn't appreciate it. She didn't want the show aired, and DL said that after he listened to her, heard her concerns, he decided to strip that. He did not play it. Monique was saying that basically her attorney had something to say about it, and they did emails back and forth, and that's the reason why he stopped. But her husband, Sidney, cleared it up and said that Monique got a little bit confused. They did not send a cease and desist to DL. They did conversate about it, but I think their attorney was involved in it one way or the other. But regardless, I just think the whole situation with them is really petty, and it's gotten out of proportion. And I don't feel like their friendship will ever be able to be mended. I really feel as if they have taken this to like a new low. And my biggest thing is, like, we always talking about the kids that are out there shooting up each other and not being able to talk about things and rationalize things. And they're really doing the same thing. To me, I feel like they both have a brand, and they need to be considering the brand and the things that they're doing. Sometimes you can work so hard and then tear everything down with something that's just as crazy as this. It's almost like somebody got to be the biggest and somebody got to be the baddest. Nobody can't sit down and talk and let's have a conversation about this. Let's go ahead and end this foolishness. It's getting out of control. Now it's gotten so out of control. DL is talking about, how she look, how she she had to pay for a man, and Monique is talking about his has said something about his children. But now this is the thing with Monique after DL came back, and he made his little comments back on his little low blow about her attorneys, and his low blow about her size and all this stuff. Then Monique and her husband Sidney came, and they did a little statement, put out a video on her show and on her podcast, and they were kind of talking to DL, saying that they love him, and they even at the end of it cried, right? And Sidney, now, what I thought was kind of like, come on, Sidney. He made a statement about DL's daughter, in the statement that he's not the youngest one that had the trauma, but I think it was the next oldest daughter or whatever. She didn't like the things that Monique was stating. So the daughter wrote this whole statement out. I think it was on Instagram, and saying that she didn't appreciate it, yada yada yada. I'm not going to go through all that. And she put the statement out there for Monique and said, hey, basically she didn't like it. Don't be saying these things about her dad. Now, Sidney, well, they went live a couple of days ago. He made the statement. Now, when your daughter put that out, you have one daughter. We got 3 big sons. Now, what if we had taken the same measures and road that your daughter had taken? Now, I felt like, here we go again. Now, why you gonna try to say something crazy like that? That to me was crazy, Sidney. I know you got your wife back in business and in marriage, but I didn't think that was needed. It shouldn't have been a comparison like that. This is a girl just making a statement. And so what's gonna happen? Now you got 3 big sons, and then she got some brothers, or she got some cousins that's bigger than your sons. Now here we go again. Now people want to throw hands up. And it does happen. It does happen. You know what I'm saying? So my biggest thing is that wasn't needed. And then when at the end of it, that I thought was crazy, like Monique was saying, they started tearing up and saying that they don't want to, because I guess they frat brothers or whatever. He don't want to have this problem with them and stuff like that. And then Monique saying that she loves him. That's like people looking at you like crazy, because there's no way that you're gonna love somebody and say hurtful things. To me, there's no way. So my thing is just hold off on that kind of conversation, because it comes across hypocritical. Because you're not gonna say you can't say you love somebody one moment and then you hitting them below the belt the next month. No, that kind of love we don't need. We have that kind of love we don't need now. We're going to have to leave that love right there where it's at now. Because there's no way you're going to love somebody and say the things about the wife and the family and the children. And same thing with DL. Saying the things about the husband, about Monique. You don't care for each other. So their relationship right now, I feel like it's like at a point, Monique was saying we need to get together somewhere and talk. There is no way on this earth they're gonna be able to get together and talk about nothing, not a dang on thing. She knows it, and DL knows it. That would be the worst idea. Now you talking about keeping it gangster and ghetto. That would definitely not work. They will be talked about from now on. The blogs, including me, we will have so much to talk about. Now, I love to have things to talk about, but I do not like to see 2 iconic people going down in history like this. I feel as if when some time, you know how the old people say, you got to put some time on it. You got to put some time on it. Somebody gonna have to be the bigger person, and they're gonna have to just zip it up. Be quiet, DL. I heard you state every time she say something, you coming back. You coming back. We get it. We know you're not intimidated. We know you're not afraid. We know Monique not intimidated. We know Monique not afraid. We know y'all don't like each other. Okay? We get it. We all get it. But at this point, y'all need to stop. Y'all are 2 grown people with children, probably grandchildren too, and y'all got to be an example. And you're an example to people that look up to you, not just the feud that y'all have going on. You know what I'm saying? Teeth and tongue fall out, like my grandma said. Teeth and tongue fall out. Everybody disagree at times. We get it. Everybody don't have to like each other. We have to be able to coexist and respect the boundaries. And I think that you and her both have crossed the boundaries. I think it's hypocritical for Monique to say that I love you, sweet baby, and this and that and the foolishness and the cry. We know she's an actress now. We do know that. But I didn't feel that it was real. Now, she probably had some realness in there, because she probably hate at this point that it even happened. I think they both hate that it's gotten to this point. But pride get a bleep bleep hurt round this mug. See, people don't get it. Sometimes words hurt more than physical. You get hit physically most times, now, unless it's a weapon involved, but most times you'll heal, you'll get better. But words hurt down to the core. It stay there. It grinds. It hurts at you, and you relive it over and over again. And so I think the things that they're saying is verbal. We're trying to see who's going to be the best at using their words. It ain't necessary. We know if she say something, DL, you gonna say it back. And DL, if you say something, she coming right back at you. And her husband right there at her back, which is what he supposed to do. That's her husband. I get you probably told your wife, DL, stay out of this. I got this. I can handle her. We get it. I can handle them, as a matter of fact. I got that. And your wife is doing the right thing. But I think you need to, DL, you're going to have to take a step back too. You got a lot going for you. Don't let this mess up your career. Monique, you getting up on your feet. Focus on you and what you doing right now. Forget all that yesterday stuff. Yesterday don't have nothing to do with your tomorrow unless you make it. Things only stay there and stay relevant in your mind if you continue to allow it to be relevant. I think you and him need to put some ice on it. and y'all need to both chill. Because I think right now y'all are acting just like the boys in the hood. I know sometimes, we move out of the hood, but that stay deep down in us. You know what I'm saying? We can always bring it on up if we need to. But I think at this point that you all have too much going for you. Monique, I'm rooting for you to get back on your feet, which you're doing great, by the way. I even come to your show if you come to the A. And you know what, DL, same with you. I just think both of you all need to continue to do what you do, and you need to move forward. Talking, I think even not. I don't think it's necessary right now. I don't think that would be a good idea. I think y'all got to put some time on it, and it may never come back. I think the relationship is broken real bad right now. Do I think it's unrepairable? No, because it has to be pride thing. You got to be able to put that pride to the side in order to move back. But something about our people, we strong-willed. We strong-willed. So I don't think right now it's going to be a good time for y'all to get together. What I do think is y'all just need to work on doing what you're doing. Sidney, I feel like you need to support your wife and have her back. And I know I can imagine, I don't know Monique, but I can imagine she's very strong-willed. And I know you have her back. But at this point, I think work on y'all. Work on your thing and what you got going. And leave that, the rest alone. DL, work on your family. Work on doing what you do. You got a lot of things in the oven. I always thought that you were a comedian, but when I saw that you talk about a lot of world issues, I was really impressed. So don't let that. And that was before I started doing this podcast stuff. This is just in general. I was like, okay, he's an advocate for certain things, but in order, you got to be an example. We try to tell these boys in these streets, that's out here, killing each. Our young men are killing each other like crazy. Even when they get money, they still out here killing each other. But when we don't show them no different, living by example. I get Monique saying we got to show people that we can get together and make things work. But Monique, that ain't gonna happen if you back here, you uppercutting them and backhanding them anytime you can. Come on now. Come on, let's keep it 100. And we really gonna keep it 100. Let's just keep it 100. As a matter of fact, let's keep it 1,000 around this mug. You saying that you want to be cool with him again. You want to show the tears and all of that. But then on the same token, you making little underhanded comments. We all catching them. And if we catching them, he catching them. And DL, we see you over there. Hey, she say something, I'm coming straight for the throat. I'm going straight for the jugular. Come on, you a man. Be a man about it. You know what I mean? Let it ride. Because my grandmama said they can't talk to themselves. And people get energy because you feeding them. You giving them energy. That goes for both of you all. You guys are feeding off each other's negative energy. At the end of the day, the root of y'all problem is ego. Nobody don't want to let one up on each other. Y'all need to stop. I'm for real. I'm doing the podcast stuff, but I'm a realist. I'm 100. I'm going to tell you just like it. T.I. is. I'm just not going to report to you what I'm hearing out here in these streets. I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. And personally, I think y'all need to stop. I really do think y'all need to stop. Because I feel like you're making a whole mockery of successful African-American men and women. You are brands. You are two people that are household names. People look up to you. And I feel like there's so much more positive you could do with what you're doing than negative. You're not helping the babies or the people when you're doing negative stuff. So my thing is, y'all chuck it up. You ain't even got to be friends. Everybody don't have to get along. That ain't the real world either. Everybody ain't gonna get along. And that's cool. We don't have to get along, but we have to coexist because y'all are in the same type business. For real, for real. Y'all don't have to do any shows together. Y'all might cross paths at events and stuff like that. It don't need to be an elephant in the room. We don't get along. We don't even see each other up in here. But one monkey ain't gonna stop no show. And the way you get people is to show them how you moving. Show them how you moving. And not all the lip action. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to come and talk because I just was like, y'all need to stop it and get it all the way together and stop this kitty stuff because we have to be an example. How are we going to tell the boys out here in these streets that's hustling, that's finally coming up in the music business and just in the hood trying to make it up out of there, how they need to solve stuff, you know what I'm saying, and not kill each other because y'all verbally, that's what y'all trying to do. You're trying to hurt each other to the soul. You know what I'm saying? So how you gonna be an example and tell people you want them to look up to you when you out here shaking this way and moving that way? Come on now. It ain't really worth it. When you think about the big scope of things, whatever happened on that day, it happened. You can't get that day back. Whatever happened at the show, somebody dropped the ball. Okay, it started right there. Somebody dropped the ball. So it is what it is. We ain't working together no more on this side. That was it. That was it. We ain't working together no more on this side. We both know that. But moving forward, all this back and forth catty stuff is making her look bad. It's making you look bad. And Sidney, don't get involved to that extent. The cry and tears, a waste of time. We know they ain't real for real. They're not real. Okay, so anyway, that's in my opinion. But whatever it's worth. So anyway, look, y'all, I just want to come talk to y'all about this for 1 second. Y'all enjoy y'all day. And thank you for tuning to Curb Uncensored. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye.